Also, Atoll supports the latest technology advances such as massive MIMO, 3D beamforming, millimeter wave propagation for the design and rollout of 5G networks. Uh, Atoll is basically a Windows-based tool. It is very easy to copy, paste, import, export data in case of Atoll. It is possible to choose what to display, what to filter in Atoll. So Atoll is very user-friendly tool. Uh, First of all, we'll learn how to create a Atoll, how to create a new Atoll document. So there are basically two ways to create a new Atoll document. First of all, we can use from document template. So there are various document templates available in Atoll depending on the technology, like 5G template, template, UMTS template. So these kind of templates right now available in my atoll. So in other atolls, there may be more templates like GSM or maybe other templates. So these are the templates available in my atoll. So if I am working on 5G, I can use this template. If I'm working on LTE, I can use this template. But in my case, there is one more way to open atoll document. So, so I have made templates according to the market. So right now I have templates according to the market. So there are various markets. So if I want to work on Washington market, so I can open Washington market. So in this case, it will show transmitters, sites, cells, etc. only for the Washington DC market for 5G. So this way we can open an atoll project. So then we'll move to a little bit of background of atoll and atoll server. Uh, so every atoll is connected to a server. When you make any changes in atoll, and if you don't archive that changes, then it will not show in server. Same way, if somebody else are making any changes in atoll, and if he doesn't archive the data, it will not show in the server. Second thing is that if some other guy made any changes in atoll and he archived the data, but if you don't refresh your atoll after he has archived his data, it will not show in your atoll. So there are two things. So when you made any changes in atoll, you have to archive the data. When other guy has made any changes in atoll, he has to archive the data. And secondly, you have to refresh data in your atoll. I will show you in detail. So let's take an example. I have made change of height from 8 to 10. Okay. So as I told you, atoll is connected to a server. When we make any changes in atoll, we have to archive the data. If we do not archive, the changes will not be reflected in the server. As you are working on atoll, other users who have access to database may have modified some of the data. To ensure that you have the most recent data in your document, you have to refresh the information from the database. So to refresh the data, how to do it? So if you go to document and if you go to database, and then there are three options. If you go to archive, right? I'm sorry. If you go to refresh, you have three options. So first option is archive your changes in the database. So this option allows us to archive our changes to the server instead of refreshing our documents from the server. Okay, so this option is used when we are making any changes and when we want that our data should be updated in the server. Second option is refresh unmodified data only. This option basically allows us to refresh from the database only those items that I have not modified from the document. So if somebody has made any changes in their atoll, so atoll will update only those changes. And third option is cancel your changes and reload database. So this option basically allows us to cancel any changes we have made and start over from the point of last archive to the database. So in this case, neither your changes nor changes from any other users will be updated. So now we'll talk about Atoll working environment. So this is Atoll working environment is divided into three parts basically: explorers, maps, and data tables. As I told you, Atoll working environment is very flexible and supports standard Windows capabilities such as simultaneous opening of several windows, movies windows or objects by dragging and dropping them. Data and objects contained in Atoll documents are accessible from different ways. Uh, so first of all, we'll talk about explorers. So this part or this, I am circling it, this thing, network, site, geo parameters. So this is considered as explorer. So explorer contains basically most of the objects in a document arranged in a folder. Using the explorers, we can manage all objects in Atoll documents like sites, transmitters, calculations, as well as geographical data such as digital terrain model, traffic maps, clutter classes, etc. Second thing is map. So this is what map is. So Atoll provides many tools for working with map. You can change the view by moving or zooming in or out, and you can choose which objects are displayed and how they are displayed. So if I revolve middle part of the mouse, I can do the zoom in, zoom out. Moreover, if I change here, one is to like here is 2 million ratio, I can change into 1 million. So it will change the zoom in and zoom out. So I will show you. So if I click here and use 1, then it will zoom in. Yeah, it is zooming in. Yeah, here it is. You can see the progress here, like 29%. See, so now we have bigger map. So there are many other capabilities of map. I will show you later on. Then we have data tables. So like there are many things like site, transmitter, prediction. Sorry. You can also display them in the tables. Like if I click on sites, so these are the tables for the site, these are the table for transmitter. So the content of the folders in the Explorer can be displayed in tables. This will basically allow us to manage large amount of data. You can sort and filter the data in a table or change how the data is displayed. So for example, if I want to see only this site, you can just filter it and it will show only this site. And moreover, if you want to sort from A to Z or Z to A, you can also see. If you want to Z to A, it will show Z to A. And if you want to see all sites if you want to display many sites like 2-3 sites, so you can also choose like this, and you can go here and you can go to advanced filter and you can use site and you can click those and it will show only these sites. Moreover, if you want to see how many sites has these two antennas, so these two antennas, so same thing, you can go here, go in advanced filter, go in antenna section, and you can just put antenna and it will show all sites with these two antennas. So there are various ways you can sort and filter the data. So it is just like an Excel sheet. Now we will discuss Explorer in detail. Explorer is basically, you can say, heart of Atoll, because Explorer plays a central role in Atoll by grouping the data and objects contained in Atoll document. The Network Explorer, so there are three parts in Atoll Explorer: network, geo, and parameters. The Network Explorer contains data related to sites, transmitters, CDMA transmitters, predictions, simulations, continuous wave measurements, drive data, this kind of data. Second thing is Geo Explorer. Geo Explorer allows us to manage the geographical data such as online maps, traffic maps, clutter classes, population, these kind of things. Moreover, you can also make different kind of zones with the help of geo, like filtering zone, focus zone, computation zone, these kind of zones. Then we have Parameter Explorer. The Parameter Explorer allows us to manage propagation models, traffic parameters, radio networks, KPI and UE trace parameters. These kind of things we can do in case of parameters. Then we'll talk about tabs of a menu bar. First, we'll go to this tab. So, as I told you, the new is used to open a new document of Atoll. Then you can use open to, if you want to open any Atoll document you have already created, like these documents I have already created. So it will show old values of parameters or anything on 529 or 610. Then we have exit option, print option, and you can also save your file as in case of save as. Then we have view option. So if I want to refresh the data, we can use the view option. Also, if you want to zoom in, zoom out data, you can use this option. And for full screen, you can use this option. Sometimes by mistake, if this Network Explorer or Geo Explorer is cancelled by mistake, so you can again take it from here and it will come it here again. Then we have this favorite view explorer. So favorite view explorer is basically used to make our life easy. Sometimes we are making PPT and we need some zoom level. Every time, then also it is very useful. So I will show you how to use. So sometimes like you are making a PPT and you want zoom level this. Okay. So if you go to view and if you go to favorite view explorer, go here and just click here. So you can say remade as zoom level, or you can put any name as 1. Okay, so now you want to change the zoom, so I'm changing the zoom from here. Yeah, so now this zoom level is changed. So if I click here and if I name it as 2, so if I click on 1, it will go back to old zoom level, and if I click on 2, it will come to this new zoom level. See, so this is what favorite view is for. Moreover, sometimes you want to show only clutter class, or you don't want to show clutter class. So if I uncheck this and if I use this as rename no clutter class, so if I click here, it will show all. But if I click here, so it will not show any clutter class. Secondly, like if you want to show only digital terrain model, I can select like this and I can click here and I can rename as DTM. So if I click here, it will show, and if I click here, then only DTM file will show. So this is the basic use of favorite view. So right now I will delete this. Okay. Then we'll move to tools. So first of all, we have thing called find on map. So in case of find of map, we can find any site on map. Like if I want to find site, I don't remember any site name, WA54XC. So if I put WA54XC, and so if I click here, yeah, it was a little bit slow today. Progress is going on here. Yeah. So if I click on this site, so this is 402. It will come like this. Secondly, sometimes we don't know the full site name. Okay. So if you know only the XC, so there are many sites. So if you put XC, you can't search any site. But if you put star here, star XC, so all site which has XC in there, it will come. So sometimes, so if you want to know all sites with name which has 03, so if you put 03, all sites with name which has 03, it will come. So Star is very important in that case when you don't know the full name of the site or you know only a partial name of the site. Then we have this auto backup. So Atoll can create automatic backup and automatically update backups of documents we are working on. Once we have saved a document, Atoll creates a backup of original document and update it at a defined interval. So if you click here and if you want to so right now my Atoll document is automatically saved every 30 minutes. But you can also change into any limit, like if you activate, so you can save your Atoll documents every 25 minutes, 40 minutes, 10 minutes, anytime. So this is the main function of automatic auto backup configuration. Uh, and in the search, I forget to show one thing. In the search, you can search by site name. You can search by position. If you know the longitude latitude of the site, you can search that site. Moreover, if you know only the transmitter name, you can search by transmitter name. So there are various ways of searching the site. It's not that you should know the site name. You can search by position, transmitter, cell, etc. Many things, many ways to search a site in Atoll. So this map window is automatically by default opens when you open Atoll. But if you want to open a new map window, you can use this, and a new map window will open. It's opening. Yeah, so new map window is open, and you can change the zoom and zoom in, zoom out for this map window independently of the first map window. I will tell you the advantage of this. It's going on. See, so this map window has different zoom levels, 239, and this window has different zoom level. So when we are working on a larger complex radio planning project, we might want to able to view a different part of the project without losing the focus on the original area. So that's why we need different zoom levels, and Atoll enable us to open several map windows of the same project. This basically permit us to visually compare two separate areas of the project. So this is very useful concept. Then we'll move to our data table. So as I told you, like we can open data table by just double clicking. So sites will, and we can also arrange this as in horizontal on horizontal pattern. So if you click sites and just right click, so if you click on new horizontal tab group, so sites will come down below map window. So this is wait. So if you click here, just one click, and if you double click on transmitters, then it will come here. Same thing if you click on right click on transmitters, and new horizontal tab group will come. Third thing, same, if you single click on 4G transmitters, and if you right click here and if you click on cells, then cells table will come. So these three are very important because these three are related to each other. So basically you can assume, or you can say sites as a grandfather, transmitters as a father, and cells as son. So if you make any changes in sites, right? If you make any changes in site, then those changes will be reflected in transmitters and cells. But if you make any changes in transmitters, it will be reflected only in the cells, not in the sites. Same way, if you make any changes in the cells, it will reflect only in the cells, not in sites and transmitter. So again, I'm repeating, if you make any changes in the site table, like site name or anything, so automatically those things will change in transmitters and cells. If you make any changes in transmitter, it will be reflected only in the transmitters and cells. But if you make any changes in the cell, it will reflected only in the cells, not in sites and transmitters. As I told you, Atoll is very flexible tool, so you can put uh, any window anywhere. So like this is event viewer. So if you make any changes, so this event viewer will show what's the progress of changes, what the progress of prediction, etc. So you can put it anywhere you want, anywhere you want. Secondly, if you want to hide this, then we have hide functionality also. So it will hide all the explorers window like network parameter tab. And if you click it again, it will come back. So your legend will also come. So if you click here, it will hide it. And if you click again, and if you click auto hide, then it will come back to its original position. So this is what we can do. Moreover, you want to move it, you can also move it. If you double click here, it will go back to the original position. And if you make like if you have worked full day on Atoll and you want to open from where you stopped, so you should save your document as save as and give any name, and Atoll document will be saved. So like I have saved with many documents. So if I open this document 0529, then all the parameters which were on this date or at that time, it will open. It will not show the new parameters. And it's very useful to save your Atoll document at least once a week or once a month, because uh, if somebody change your parameters, then you can check what are the values 1 month back or 2 months back. So I save my file at least once a month so that I can cross verify that the changes are correct or not. Then we'll move to coordinate systems. So for coordinate systems, we have to go to properties. So first thing is projection. So projection is basically, we need projection basically to define which projection system has been used to obtain our geographical map. So you have to choose your projection according to your location. So like for North America and for my place, I am using NAD 83. Second thing is display. So there are various formats of longitude, latitude. So right now it is showing in this format. So if I change this pattern into this pattern, then you can see in sites it will change. So right now you can see it is this pattern. So if I choose this and OK, and it will change the pattern here. So this is what in display. Secondly, in units, so you can display antenna gain in these kind of units like dBi or DUBD. You can show transmission in dBm, watt, kilowatts, etc. Also, you can show your distance in miles, kilometers, feet, etc. Whatever you want. So these are the things. So UTM zone is very important because, as we know, what is basically UTM? UTM is basically system for assigning coordinates to locations on the surface of the earth. UTM is basically a universal transverse marker. Like the traditional method of latitude and longitude, it is a horizontal position representation, which means it ignores altitude and treats the earth as a perfect ellipsoid. So UTM is very important and you should choose it very carefully. Now we are moving to geographical data. Geographical data is very important. In an Atoll document, several different geographical data types are used. For example, digital terrain model, clutter classes, clutter heights, online maps, population, traffic data. These are the various kinds of geographical data. These data types are very important, such as clutter classes, because they are used for realistic calculations. You can import a wide variety of geodata files when you import a geodata file into Atoll. And moreover, you can also decide which folder it should go. I will show you now. Just give me, I will show you later. The Geo Explorer window has folders for the commonly used data types. Therefore, choosing a folder is choosing what the file will be used for. Once you have imported a file into the Atoll document, you can edit the data, define how the geodata will be displayed. So I will show you how to import data. So if you go to file, and if you go to file, and if you go to import, and if you go to my folder, and I have saved my clutter classes in this folder, geodata, Richmond geodata. So if there is a clutter class, right? So for example, I have used this test clutter class. Okay, so if I put this like this, select this clutter class, open, and I want that it should go to clutter class, not clutter height or anywhere. So I will select the folder clutter classes, import. Right now it's importing. Yeah, it all is slow, so it's taking time to import the clutter classes. It's going on. 32% is done. It doesn't take so much time. I don't know why it's taking so much time, but I can't do anything till this is over because it's going on. It's going on. 64% is done. It's going on. 87% is done. It doesn't take so much time. I don't know why it's taking so much time today. Yeah, it's done. So our test class will show here. So these are the various clutter classes already there. So this is our clutter class which came here, and you can see our clutter class. So this is just test, so nothing will show here, but these are the clutter classes. Then we are moving to clutter classes. Then we are moving to DTM. So DTM is basically digital terrain module. It will show digital terrain module according to the area. So if you go to properties of digital terrain module, okay, and if you want to display, so in the display there are three things: unique, discrete values, and value intervals. First of all, we'll talk about the unique. So unique basically defines the same symbol for all objects of this type. By defining a unique symbol for an object type, we can easily identify the objects of different types such as sites, transmitters, DTM. So in this case, this gray color will donates DTM. So if I use this, and if I apply, and if I put OK, so, and if I remove clutter classes, so right now this gray color is showing DTM. Second thing is discrete values. So discrete value defines the display of each object according to the value of a selected field. This display type can be used to distinguish objects of the same type by one character. For example, in this case, anything which has height more than 0 will be gray, and anything which has height less than 0 will be blue. So I don't know anything has height less than blue, but I will check it. So you can see here DTM. Since see, so some area has blue also. So this area has DTM less than 5 meters, and this area has a DTM more than 5 meters. Third thing is value intervals. So value intervals basically defines the display of each object according to set ranges of the value of a selected field. This display can be used, for example, to distinguish population density, signal strength, altitude of the sites. So in this case, like this red color will donates that height is more than 1000 meter, green color denotes something else, and this green color represents height between 500 and 600. These kind of things can be used in case of DTM. So if I apply this, and if I okay, so these are the things. Then we are moving to clutter classes. In clutter classes also same thing. If I move to clutter class, first of all we have these many clutter classes, 16 plus 16, 32 clutter classes in my company. So clutter classes, so first of all in clutter classes, So if anything has height 50 meters, then that will be considered as core urban. If anything has height 30 meters, then that will be considered as high density urban. So these are the various clutter classes classification. Secondly, we have indoor laws. So indoor laws is to be applied to the path laws and used in coverage prediction, point analysis, and Monte Carlo simulations. We can use this setting to define value of indoor classes per frequency. So this one is so you can say for 800 frequency, indoor loss is 25.2 dB, for 1900 33.2 dB, and for 2600 38 dB for core urban. Okay, then we have LTE, then we have standard deviation. So this is used to calculate shadowing losses on the path loss. So this is basically standard deviation. Then we have C C/I standard deviation. This is used to calculate shadowing loss on C by I plus N values. And then we have MIMO gain factor. So MIMO gain factor is to apply the special multiplexing gain, the MIMO tab of LT reception equipment. Then we have LTE or 4G, 5G additional diversity gain. This is used to add to users downlink if the user mobile has reference LT cell support transmitted diversity, and same with uplink diversity, downlink diversity. Then we have display. In the case of display, we can display the colors for different types of clutter classes. Like for core urban, it's brown. For urban, it's pink. For 5 meter C, it's blue. So this type of display, so that it is easy for us to see what is the clutter class type. Like if I apply this and if I remove the sites transmitters, I'm literally now scared of clicking anywhere because Atoll is so slow. So yeah, so you can see clutter. If you click here, you can see this is code 14, forest dense vegetation. You can click here, you can see this is inland water. So and you can see indoor loss, everything. And the same with clutter height maps. So if you click on clutter height maps, same, there are three types. In clutter heights we have two types only: discrete values. Red means height more than 0 meter and less than 0 meter, and we have value intervals. According to intervals, we have colors, like for yellow between 42 and 42 meters, these kind of things. Then we are moving to online maps. So right now no map is displayed here. Okay, so if you go to online maps, if you can choose, so there are basically three kinds of map you can choose. So you can choose like Bing hybrid, and you can, so it will show, you have to click here, it will show Bing hybrid map. Also if you click here, you can choose the brightness, contrast, etc. See, nothing, everything is gone. So you should be in the middle. So this is how you can use. Now we are moving to radio data. I think we should take break of 10 minutes and then we'll start radio data maybe in part 2 of the Atoll. Thanks for your given time, and I will upload the second part as soon as possible. Thank you.